Hello, galactic travelers, cosmic crew. What's up? Happy spring equinox. This is the one we have all been waiting for. And I am coming to you from Austin, Texas. Um, oh, I know that, first of all, I'm just so very grateful. There you guys are. I'm so very grateful. Oh my gosh, for everyone and everything. Everything. And I'm very grateful that you guys have been patient. Jamie, hold on, just listen. I'm so grateful that you guys have been patient with me. I've been hearing all of you. We've been been connected through telepathy, especially the four that are on right now, Fifth World and Art Souls. I mean, the live that I have jumped on. You guys are there. I'm trying not to fall apart right now. The last 7 days, what I've been doing is grounding this energy into our beautiful planet, because all the new earth codes are coming in through our light bodies. And now I understand so completely. I understand way more than I want to. And I can't wait for you guys to get all of these downloads and so that there's more that understand all of it, because I know you guys are feeling it's all coming in, and it's knowledge, it's your DNA awakening. And first I really want to describe what that means. Because I didn't understand what the light body was. And since March 1st, when everything completed and happened, there has been such a series of confirmations. And so I want to start with confirmations. First, before I forget, at the very beginning of this video, I will be adding some services. I owe you some people charts, and I'm so grateful that you have waited. I will get all those done before the beginning of next week. And then I am going to be offering to 3 people. So I'm putting it out here first. I haven't even wrote it up yet. So especially anyone that you know that maybe is going through a hardcore awakening activations, for all the newbies coming in, or even if you guys are just needing full-time support. For the past 22 months, what I've done is give everything to consciousness. All the manifestation power that I had, that now I know I was utilizing the whole time. And these are other things that we're going to start getting into, because I'm even now remembering how to manifest through the matrix. Basically trick the matrix into offering hotel rooms like this that you normally could not ever afford at last minute. Stuff like that. So it's all such beautiful, amazing things coming. But for 3 people for a month, you'll have 24-hour access to me. And I can definitely handle that, because that's what I've been doing for 22 months, is constantly coaching 3 or 4 at a time, through Marco Polo phone numbers, whatever. And that will be $1,222 for a month. That's all light language healing, any blockages, anything that you need. And that's not residual. It's only for a month. So if you know any, I can only do 3 before I put this out on LinkedIn, which is where I'm going next, for CEOs and people that are needing assistance right after this big equinox. So if you know anybody, email me. And then I'm going to do a part-time one too. Depending on how this video goes, because we might do some light language healing. The other thing is, this past week, I mean, I wasn't even allowed to get on because there was so much integrating, and so much that was still going on that legit. I mean, in a way, I didn't need to share because you know my experience and what I experienced is not going to be what you guys have to experience. And then even the lesser of that, um, is manifest in so many different ways, right? And so I didn't want to have everyone manifest what had happened at that very, very, very high cosmic realm, because those last videos that I did remember, I just so happened to be the most conscious one on the planet. And so it was really, after that happened, I mean, we had to turn the nitrogen back on the planet. We had to turn the oxygen on. I had to rebalance my body, and immediately shift my energy. On the 13th, right before I left town, because I was guided to go all the way down to Corpus Christi. Of course, that's where I ended up because it's where this love story started, because now we're remembering the love story. Now we're remembering why we did all of this. Now we're remembering the music and the frequencies and all of that because we quantumly programmed it back into the bodies. I did personally, so I can testify. We're in 2012 right now, and I even saw something on a channel. I won't even mention the name because I was pretty, that IBM had built a time machine and quantum shifted us. Well, hi IBM. Hello, all my IBMers. Where's your paycheck? Because we did that. And we were grounding all these codes. And I couldn't even do light language. I can't do a ton of healing on people without one-on-one, just because it's activating everyone so quickly, because it really is attunements, and because our bodies are now completely, literally reprogrammed to pick up the frequencies, and all of our body parts are back in tune with our air, because this was just a battle over air. It's what it was. And now we have it back. So so I'm offering those 3, and then I am most likely going to do some light language at the end of this, and then I'm going to hang up and continue it. And when I get home, I will upload that into a private YouTube video and offer that. And I'll do another short video, to enter for that. This retreat, I believe this is in Austin, Texas. We'll be doing a healing retreat here soon. So if you're in the US or you're in local, I'm really thinking July. We'll do a Wayshowers healing retreat just to get together. I've already talked to the manager, $100 a night. So be thinking about that. I'm already started writing my story of Cosmic Christie. All of you start writing your stories, because that's the most important part. When these energies come in, you glow. People follow you everywhere because you're the sun. We're the shepherds. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. And they look at us and they think that they can't do it. That's the one thing about this journey in spiritual, right? Is that when others are so down, and their matrix is, their illusions are falling. She just walked out of the clouds. She has no idea. She hasn't been through what I've been through. So, and I did that too. So the most important part for a lot of us, if you're guided to write your story, I always knew that once I got through it, all I had to do was show up and tell my story. And I'm at that point right now. And I'm so grateful to be free. And I can't tell you guys enough. Oh, goodness. I hope you hear this beautiful music behind me. So my email is coco@cosmicchristy.com. And if you resonate, or if you resonate to even send donations just to back what's going on here, I'm very grateful because we're all growing this together. It's the Coco. Without all of your donations and everything, we wouldn't have been able to be where we needed to be. We wouldn't have been able to finish these final connections. And so now I want to go back into the light body. And I want to describe these confirmations because so many of you are going through this and you didn't understand what was happening. If you've watched the movie Jupiter Ascending, it's really kind of like that, except when Jupiter finds out that she's royalty, then she goes into that weird like corporate setting, remember? And she's like having to stand in line, and they're having to look through all these records and to see if it's who she is. And then she finally gets this like mark, this glow mark. It's glowing ink that identifies her. Well, what that really means, and all of us are going to go through this and are going through that. And most of you guys on this channel are already doing this. Understand completely what it is because it makes so much sense, and it makes the light body and the integration of everything so much easier. What confirmation means and what a light body means is that our bodies have high enough frequency in our DNA is activated completely. Not completely, I don't want to say completely, but because we're going to keep awakening, but to the point where your ancestors and your guides from your DNA, from your actual blood, because this really always was a blood war. It was always over keeping our blood sedentary so that we weren't connected to our ancestor guidance, to creator, to source. And I really didn't understand all of that until I started going through these confirmations after March 1st, immediately. And, it's also going to describe how it is that all of a sudden I was able, because Tesla was coming through. When you guys were seeing Tesla in the sky, it's because Tesla was coming through me. We were quantum program. I can't even it's breaking down the zeros and the numbers when I get them, because what happens is your body and your blood are vibrating at a high enough frequency that all of your ancestors are coming through. And so what happens is it's not, you're not standing in line somewhere. For me, it was numbers and frequencies of numbers and frequencies of where a lot of my gifts lie and where a lot of my ancestral guidance that was needed at that time. Not everyone's is going to be this way. So I'm going to describe my experience. And what it is when you're following your guidance and you're completely in flow, then what happens is they're sending signals to you to look to the left, or what do you see? Look to the right. What do you see? What are you hearing? So for me, it was, it started out with words, hearing something in my mind. And a lot of it was songs. So it was like, I would have to write down, I would hear, it's a nice day for a white wedding. And I'd write down white wedding and I would decode it. And then I would hear, look at the clock. And the clock would say 3:10. So then I'd write down 3:10. So then I'd decode it. And then I would hear, not necessarily hear, I would just know, because you're so tuned in. Look to the left. What do you see? A red notebook. What color is it? Red. this is all going in my head. So then I would write down red. And so basically, what was happening in the privacy of my room at this point was, and these long frequency patterns were starting, and then basically it was getting timed into the matrix. And what it was doing was showing which lineages could talk to me. It was proving that they had access to my light body, because they can't have access to your light body unless you hold their DNA. So since I am an AB negative and I hold 3 royal bloodlines, that's what was happening for a couple of days. And that's how, it's even possible that I quantum programmed anything, because I never even took calculus. I mean, it just, all of a sudden it comes through you, and you just know. And this is where it goes back to intuition and being in the flow. Now I know that I've always been in the flow. I've Kristen, I've always known. Now I know I've done everything right. I've never done anything wrong. I really, really, in a big part, have never really sinned, because now I'm fully aware that I was always in my guidance, which is why, I always was saved at the last minute, throughout my lifetime in the crazy situations I was in. But you're not aware that that's what's going on, until you have this fuller integration. It's starting to get loud around here, so I hope you guys can hear me good, because the energy comes with us, I'm telling you. If you haven't noticed, if you go in through a drive-through or something and you turn around and you're like, holy Moses, where's everyone coming from? It's just the energy. Everyone follows us. So I've seen this manifest in other ways with people too. Like if you're somewhere, so that's how it started. And then over the past week, as I was in Corpus Christi, and we were, standing on the side between the United States courthouse in Corpus Christi and the actual shrine to the compass and to the earth and the wind, right in front of it, dead center. Because again, I'm not going to get off into this, but I mean, we were so coded into the matrix, and that's why we had the hurricanes in Louisiana. That's why that's why they made the hurricanes happen. Well, actually, we made them happen, but they coded it into the matrix so that we would create it, so that they could wash away all the street names and regrid everything, to keep our energy down. And so as we went further south, all of those were starting to unravel. And as those energy grids, because these were our true codes in 2012. And 2012 is when we should have ascended. And this is when it was manipulated. And so this is why we quantum leaped back to 2012. So, even roads named Coco, I mean, all these things are naturally in our ascension, and in their codes and their experiences that were all made for this moment in time. But they were gridded down energetically so that we couldn't feel them. So now what's happening is those are open. And so this is with our children even. And I don't know if you've noticed, your children are happier, and your connections with people are stronger. And yes, there's some shifting going on within that still. But once you get on the other side, it is more turning off your brain completely. You have to turn off your brain completely, and you have to remember that you're the sun, and that you can't get agitated. You can't be upset. No matter, you can be upset, but if you hold on to it, then you're stopping yourself from creating, and you are magnetizing and holding on to that construct. And so being in your intuition and flow is what I'm talking about right now. I've had some we've got the Lyrans or the ground crews of all I mean, I've met the Lyran ground crew, we've connected, and so over the past week, she's been getting downloads, assisting us because we're all one. This is what's been going on behind the scenes, assisting us in reconnecting the body. And remember, you have to activate your dopamine, activate your serotonin, activate your DNA. We have to call it in. We have to make it be. And I, with all the integration and everything that's going on, I am so resonant just to talk about this part because, in this lifetime, Christy had not experienced any of this. A lot of us were either more mental, right? More left mental, legit, more left brain or more right brain because that was the whole thing. It was keeping it separated so that they weren't merging. And so if you're have been a more left brain person, turning off the brain, you can do it. You can do it. I did it literally in a night, with all the anger and everything that I went through when I was in danger. I mean, because you guys were seeing timelines where I wasn't living. You were seeing timelines where I didn't make it. The severity of the manipulation was so startling. And immediately, I mean, on the 13th, I at 11:59 on March 13th, I got the message, okay, Christy, you have to drop it. You have to let it go. You have to completely let it go. And I was thinking, oh my God, how do I even do that? I mean, I'm living basically connected to all these satellite grids and then all of a sudden I remember, it's like you remember, oh my gosh, I'm on a satellite grid. Even 2 days ago when I was because I'm remembering. I mean, we're integrating so much lifetime information, and just 2 days ago, it was like, wait a minute, I know how the matrix works. I know I can code the matrix. So, well, how can I utilize that to help us get the funds we need in order to get B Coco Chi stuff started and all get together and have a place to send people? It's just that perception shift, and that's what is really being asked of all of us is just to remember to flow with everything. I'll go back to the confirmations. So after we're confirmed, because it took us like 2 days to be confirmed, and this was all of us. This was our dragon seed. All of you that are connected to that 13th bloodline, to that original element of wind, to our dragon lineage, because we're the seeds that were legit sold off. After we were confirmed, then it became in my personal surroundings, and this is where a lot of you guys are at. If you have been called to come to like family reunions all of a sudden, or you're going to dinner somewhere all of a sudden that's not normal, or you automatically are at Disneyland, which one of you, some of you were one of you, that's been working so close with me, and I'm so grateful. I'm not going to say who she is because I haven't asked her if I can. I talk about her a lot. She was with me through this whole thing, and I knew I could trust her. She ended up at Disneyland. A lot of the Disneyland princesses, things like that, were coded. It all had to be energetically released. That was some of the quantum programming things that we were doing because it's all how they were also manipulating our DNA. FYI. It's okay to watch all that stuff again. It's okay to listen and do everything because it's all clear. But she was at Disneyland, and so, and so I ended up at a series of restaurants, because I was traveling, and just in my intuition, and I didn't know where I was. It was like, okay, turn here, you're hungry, you need to eat there. And when I walked in and sat down, a couple of times the tables next to me were dirty and the people, open ones everywhere, and the people that came in that were there, now I know to confirm me, uh, demanded that table. And for me, it was, because you hear everything with telepathy. So I could hear the entire conversation. I was also, guided to block the energy, and so I had my fork in a certain place. I had my knife, the blade of the knife was facing them at first. My legs were crossed a certain way at first because I was completely in guidance, and this is what they were having. This is what my guides were having, my ancestors were having me do. But I didn't understand that that's what I was doing. I just had to, I was by myself. So, it was very easy to stay completely in tune. And this is how this works. And so I heard the couple saying, "Oh my gosh, she looks just like her." They started kind of going through, okay, well, how could your mother must have something, something, something. And so um, at the same time, the man was staring at me. He looked a lot like Richard Dreyfuss. He was staring at me, and then I would get a message on my phone and I would look at it because that's how I see things. I get, through the robocalls and stuff. I'm seeing those numbers and getting those codes now. And so then I would get a code and I would intake the code, and then I could see his mouth just fall open. And I heard them say, we're going to help her. So there never was a physical exchange. There, it, they didn't come to table. They didn't happen. I heard them talking. I could feel the energy flowing back and forth. And then I was like, okay, it's time to go. And legit, he got a text right whenever I thought it's time to go. This man got a text and he said, okay, our time's up. So the crew member that was at Disneyland, she was at the park and walking in circles because that's another thing. We're going places, and it's not that you're lost. It's not that you don't know where you're going. It's not that you can't make up your mind what restaurant you're going to go to. It's that your guides are guiding you in these specific patterns to release these energetic ties or to activate something exactly where you are. They're also seeing if they have connection to you. So, it did, it's for instance, she walk into the store, pick up this blue bird toy, and she could feel someone watching her. She could see, it wasn't just that people were drawn to her, it was that they legit were only there looking at her, taking pictures, things like that, because they're linked in the consciousness. And somehow or another, also, there's a whole bunch of that they can see everything we see. I mean, right after March 1st, I think it was maybe March 2nd or March 3rd, it was the first, because I've been off social media completely, pretty much, except when I was guided to jump in. Um, I jumped on a live video and everyone started telling the host, the princess is here, she's watching. They were seeing exactly what I was doing, but they didn't know which one I was. It's crazy. So if you guys understand that, send me an email because I don't want to know. They can see everything, right? You're on Galactic TV. So it's all about being in the flow and it's all about intuition. Um, what's happening right now with the energy is that what we have said as a family, and when I talk about family, this is the dragon race, understand that energetically on the planet, there is no more oil and gas. The financial systems and everything is on a complete standing halt right now, because understand that our energy was fueling everything. Everything that has been created in this realm was created by us. Everything. And this is where oh, it's taken, I'm getting there. I'm getting there to remember how powerful we are. And it was manipulated. We were manipulated to create it because we were powerful creators. So we didn't know that by selling technology in India, because our company all of a sudden started selling technology, outsourcing things to India, we didn't know that we were so powerful that we were creating an entire industry and creating an entire corporate structure by just talking about it every day. But that's legit how it ended up happening over a very, 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 very long period of time. We have to remember that, my beautifuls. We got our moonness back. We got our music back. Lumeria, Lemuria, Moo. We are the moos. We are the mermaids. We are the creators. And now our DNA is whole within humanity. We are just making this final connection at the 144, meaning 15% of the planet after this equinox and after you guys integrate this energy over the next week or so. 15% of the planet is back in creation mode. Power, our power. On the planet, energy grids and everything were set up in order to siphon the energy to sell it back to us, which is why we almost blew up, because it would have self-imploded. It's like putting a stick of dynamite in a box and then putting metal chains and everything all around it, because its natural state, it just floats. So what happened, after March 1st is that they no longer had access to the wind. They no longer had access to our bodies, to our energy. So, when I was driving south to Corpus Christi, I had an office at EXXON, okay? I was helping them build that whole mess, not understanding that I was. And so I'm only telling you this because I know the oil and gas companies. And as I was driving further and further south, there's oil and gas companies from other countries that I'd never seen before. I mean, it was just solid cranes and semi trucks and the oil and gas everywhere, because that's what the plan was. The plan was to keep the energy here in Texas and Louisiana, which is basically Egypt and England, Europe is how it's coded, and to siphon from us and completely, because they knew that our DNA would be integrated, so they thought that there would be more. And so I've lived in Texas all my life, and I've never seen the amount of industrialization that has gone on down here. However, as I was driving, the one thing that was very apparent and clear is that all the semi trucks were grounded. There were truck stops with literally, there had to have been hundreds. I mean, honestly, one of them, there could have been 1,000 semi trucks that were all parked there, 2 or 3 different ones with hundreds of trucks just stopped because they don't know what to do. Because the energy to fuel the financial systems has been completely cut off. They have been told that if they, and when I say they have been told, it's because I get messages that I need to speak into words in this realm, even from my bathroom, to talk to Trump, to talk to Putin. I call him in, I tap him in, and then whatever information comes through, because the ancestors and the guides and the dragon races are working through us to get these messages so that they can hear that frequency, because we're they're wanting me to tell you, we're the bubbles. Okay, so if you want to call the collective anything besides the Coco, then we're bubbles. Because on March 1st, after I got pulled out of the under Antarctica, our dragon body, and was brought back to life, really, and went directly into Libre, because that's how it went. It was immediately, it was be strong and stand up. And I started spinning in circles until I stopped at a certain place. And then a judgment was made because through my field, it's kind of like where it stopped, because you're so tuned in. So, it has, the reason I'm saying that is because understand that if you feel the need to say, Trump, this is it, you got to do this or whatever, then do it, because this is how this is working. So the financial industries and things, everything's on a complete standstill right now. And they have been told that, until they talk to the family, and at those high levels, they know who the family is, or it's through the consciousness. I'm not exactly sure, through the Coco, but until they talk to the family, that nothing will be released. Well, yesterday morning, and I haven't had to do any of that, and I haven't had to deal with any of that in a week. But yesterday, it was, okay, Trump, okay, Putin, here's the deal. There is no financial reset until full disclosure is made. And within 30 minutes, I got an update on my phone from Time Magazine that Trump had grounded 300,000 barrels or something, or he was in some whatever. So all that's going on, just know that is us demanding, because the message to them was, look, time's up. 15% of the population's fixing to be fully integrated, and we're creating a new realm. And I don't care if you've got everything gridded down in China to hold everybody hostage. If you think that whatever it is that you built is going to be able to do that, everyone's opening up and evolving from the inside out. So it doesn't matter anymore. It's completely done and over. And the more people that you have, a human revolution on your hands, is exactly how it was described to Putin and Trump. It was get the leaders together and figure out what you're going to do, because it's coming. That's a message that definitely needed to be shared. It's so amazing. Like, with the divine masculine, remember that I know who my twin is, my true twin. And I'm not even going to mention his name, because this is what's happening. Just like, as we were building up to this, when we were in that, remember when we were in the time machine? I can't remember what, we can't open the doors yet. You can't open the doors yet. We're not in the time machine. We can't open them yet. Well, just how we collapsed those timelines to the highest extent, right? So it's whatever codes you brought, whatever your soul is at a true, not, I'm back. I got a code that came in, so I'll look at that in a minute. Seems to always happen when I'm talking about politics too. Or dealing with something, I get the codes. Integration of divine masculine, so, and divine feminine, and the collapsing of the seed, right? And so for the longest time we were collapsing it. And remember, we were saying that where your original soul extension started is where you were collapsing from. So this is why, it didn't make sense why these things were coming up that were so weird. I still use the funny email someone got saying, hey, welcome to the Illuminati. We're having a party. Do you want to come? Right? Because all of our karma was completely cleared, but it was coming back up to see if they would reattach to it. Remember when we went through all that? Well, basically, what's happening now and what happened after March 1st, and for instance, why I had to deal with the devil, because really that's who I was dealing with. We're a bunch of bubbles. We're bubbles within bubbles. 325-238-8944. So 5513, which is the 13th branch. Now we collapse to 4. And then, so we have 10, 4, 8, 8, 10, 4, 7. So 1, 0, 1, 1. We just reset something. 10, 11, 10, 102, 102, turn the flow. So it's 102. The circle in the middle is an egg. It's a wheel, like the wheel of fortune. You've got a 1 on this side, and then you have a 2 on this side. And so this energy is the creation energy. So this energy is turning on and flowing. The 2 and the 1 create a 3. Charge. So at that, the reason, and so I'm using my experience and understand that this was my experience, but this is what experiences you're going to have. For me, when all of that happened, so immediately it was like, and we were literally having to turn on the lights in this realm, because that was the whole point. There had to be somebody here that was conscious enough to be able to do that, or else it wouldn't have been done and we wouldn't have made it. And so for me, why I was so stressed out and freaked out, and that video is still available if you guys, $22.22. Just email me, or it's Coco at Cosmic Christie, or whatever, my Cosmic Coco, and I'll send you that video that went into the detail about what happened. But why I got thrown into such darkness is because legit, it was the purest of the light and dark on the planet at that moment. I mean, I really, and I got that over the past week. I really understood that, why I was dealing with the devil, and I mean, legit, and I was sent to his door, legit. And, I mean, legit, they opened up the gates of hell. I saw it. I mean, in the physical. And, we had to go deal with that, was because being such an ancient seed, that is where my seed was created in the original. I am in the soul sense one of the original twins. I'm Castor, in that realm. Really the wind dragon, but rainbow dragon, but I mean Castor in that realm, in that dimension. So I was dealing with these heavy, because the polarity, because it was in its purest state, because it was the bubble way out here, the bubble within the bubbles within the bubbles. Here's a bubble, and then we've got 4 bubbles in that bubble, and then we've got another 4 bubbles within that bubble. So each one of our lineages is attached to that huge bubble. And so as we awaken the divine masculine, the divine feminine within us, and we're integrating that, and you really get the full spinal integration. This is where your chakras have to be aligned. This is, when you get this magnetic energy integration, which all of you are getting right now, is my full intent for the words as I deliver. Así que así de que me tocó na masikini shuna mo sune me kena makarati skate to sede bakana na asakini me koshune mo kora mo kosekimi ina hatiki. Ana de sede kina no oshune me kisa de kina mo koto kora se me kera kara tikiri mantishine me kane. Ara sede kina no kora roshimiki. Ara sekene no shuno koso no kana makina na kasane occasion ne kina na soro kono no koso no kore tikese ne kina na kara sekana kashina makasakini ida to koshune be kina na kasana makara. Remember to move, okay? I'm getting guided right now to just even stop talking about the divine masculine, divine feminine integration for a minute, and move your body, move your hips. Get your hands, do this, jump up and down, jump up and down. Write this down, jump up and down, shake your hands, do a figure 8 with your hips, do a cartwheel. I had to stretch. I know, it was rough. The first time, it got easier. Do a cartwheel, do a handstand, take a shower. It's integrating all of that energy back into our bodies and letting it funnel as well. Okay. So just again, jump up and down, fling your hands hard as you can, figure eights with your hips, spin around, spin around, do a cartwheel. And then I can't do a headstand. So I just laid upside down and let the blood rush to my head, because you're opening up all those channels and getting that. This is your logos energy coming in. This is what it takes to integrate it into the flow. So with our men and with us, just remember that on a mass scale, what they will remember, we will all remember enough to course correct. So what I mean by that is, right now there is no need for everyone to understand all of the details of the AI stuff, and how we were hijacked, and how they were trying to grid us down, and have the world revolve around Texas, those types of things. And that's why I had to completely shift course, because understand, there is not probably, I know for a fact there's one other person on this planet right now that may know exactly what all I know, and that might be it. This is why people don't get it, because until they're connected, they're not going to get it. But now they're going to start remembering. Holy crap, because these are things that were handed down over lineages and lineages and lineages and lineages. And people were doing things a certain way and saying certain things. They were selling off their family. They were selling off their mothers, their sisters, and their daughters. And they didn't know. They legit don't know. They're going to start remembering just enough to course correct it. Because when they remember that is at an energetic level what's been going on, then they can make sense as to why the oil's not here, why all of a sudden we need, because we have free energy, so we need new things to capture it. We're ready for our flying cars now, and by the way, your body has technology in it, and it's all programmed, so as us 15% get this integration, these are the things that are coming, because it's going to raise everything up. I'm actually a little freaked out, if y'all can keep sending me energy, because since I was the vessel and the one that embodied this, I'm a little freaked out of what's going to happen when you guys integrate all of this, because my energy is going to just freaking soar to the point where, I'm really having to make sure I don't manifest that I turn to light and disappear. But with that comes all the new codes. And so this is how we have this quantum, because it's all been rewritten. I mean, there's no, right? So it's how everything's just quantum jumping. And remember, you're in 2012. So anything that has happened, the hurricane, anything that happened before, I know I've collapsed all the way back from the furthest that I went back was when Mars won the battle with Venus, and it turned into Tiamat, and they cut off our head. And then the bottom half of this became Earth. I mean, that was collapsed like 5 or 6 days ago. So it might be 2012, but understand that we've also collapsed all the way back to the Russian Revolution with the princesses, the 4 princesses. A lot of us, we were those princesses. In fact, I think I was Alexandria, Tsarina. those princesses, that it was all about the princesses, because the princesses were the vessel, because we had the lineage, it was the blood and the skin, and to be able to birth the human that had these royal original lineages, not royal as in I'm ruling over you, royal over as ancient and the original seeds. So be gentle with your men, and just realize that, and I understand that in a lot of us, that have left brain, that we're more left brain, when there's a whole section of us that we're the men, right? We were always the men. We were always the providers. We were always the one having to look after everything from both ways. So there's a rebalancing in all relationships right now, and men are having to really drop this, I can take care of everybody, I can save everybody, I can provide for everybody, because the structure in which a lot of them were doing it is collapsing. At the same time that the females in the relationship are gaining your true power, and that it's not about doing, it's about being, and it's about manifesting the true world and your true reality. And so there's a rebalancing that's going to go on in relationships, where the men are going to have to start listening to the wisdom, and at the same time that they're experiencing emotions that they never even knew that they had, because energetically it was tied down and they couldn't. Self-love. 3 days ago, I just had to not worry about showing up and telling you guys anything. I no longer had to save anything. I no longer had to save anyone. I no longer, for the first time, felt so responsible for everything, that if didn't happen, that the world was going to end, because that's legit what I have felt like since my shock activation in May. And then, when that switch happens, it was like, oh my God, what do I do? Who am I? If I'm not saving humanity, if I'm not saving the world, if I'm not fixing my mess, if I'm not undercover, then who am I? And the beautiful beings, and especially the Lyran ground crew, because she's fully connected. She's basically, what I understand is there's 22 versions of the vessel. So if you will, there's 22 versions, 22 dimensions of the vessel. So if you're resonating with this, you're on one of those dimensions, because I'm not by far the only one that has received these downloads. I know for a fact that I'm one of only maybe 1 to 3 that were that ancient lineage, actually 2, because my original twin, who now I know who he is. And so 2 days ago, we started connecting telepathy. It's like he's everything, and that I always saw in other people, and now it just makes so much sense why even I went after the men that I was with, and why they looked the way they did, because it's him. He doesn't know who I am, I don't think. But, this goes back. It's so easy to look at the relationship and realize it's not about self, and so immediately, because I didn't have anything else going on, I wanted to jump on a plane and go find him. Can't do that, because I'm still integrating back in my true self. And now he's having to integrate me. He's having to, because he's held space this whole time and done everything that he's done in order to wake me up consciously, because he knew. But now that the DNA is awake, he's integrating a whole piece that he didn't have. And I'm getting back into the flow, into the love And the only way for us to be together is for me to completely love myself and treat myself like I want to be treated and like I treat others, not just others. It's why you haven't seen me, because so much of my life has been about showing up and saying, here, I did it, give me a trophy. And I needed to show myself that even if I didn't show up and tell you that these things were happening, that you felt them anyway. This is why so many of you are getting pulled back from social media and those types of things right now, or not, because we're all on different missions. But for me, that's how it happened. So I've got some families around me, but I'm just going to go for it. There's so much more, but for now, I'm going to do, I hope you hear the music in the background. Remember that now in the codes and in our fields, everything's programmed to frequencies, light, motion. And it all comes from the heart. So what I've been doing, and this is, start by doing things like moving traffic. If you're stuck in traffic, center yourself, take a breath. Say, consciousness, go in my heart. Picture an emerald right here. All your energy is going into that emerald, and it's creating a green field around you. And as you breathe out, that field is like a bubble. It's got plasma around it, so it's like it gets further away, and as you breathe in, you're breathing in, almost like you're breathing in and out smoke. And say, traffic, move, flow. And say, my intent is to be happy today, is to be where I'm supposed to be, to say what I'm supposed to say in order to assist humanity. And then just flow. And you'll be guided to the right place. And we'll get more into manifestation, because I'm just really now coming into that. But I have been gone for 7 days on almost nothing, staying at this beautiful place. So there's so much more to it. Right now, I'm just going to tune. If you guys want to tune in with me, we'll do some light language integration. And again, email me at coco@cosmicchristy.com if you are interested, or if you know anybody, because a lot of you guys don't need this heavy assistance at this point. But if you remember, a lot of people are just going to start activating and waking up and are going to need 24/7 assistance. I've always known that as we build this new world, that we're going to create partnerships with conscious corporations that understand that their employees are changing, that understand that everything is changing. These companies are free energy companies, new ways of doing things that's the codes that they brought in. I've always known that each of us, and especially myself, will be guiding these CEOs and assisting with their employees clearing, or just telling them our knowledge in the industry, because we're just completely tuned in. So we have it. So we're basically, while they're integrating, we're giving them the answers from the ancestors. And that's really where this is another angle this could go, and jump on it, because, oh my gosh, if you're resonating to this is why it's coming up. Because I will be putting out a LinkedIn at some point announcing this. So I know it's going to start really blowing up because people are looking for us to assist. It's in the codes. Okay. It's how it's programmed. Please, start. If you haven't started your channels and if you're scared of what people are going to say, I am begging you to start them, because there is so much happening and you cannot rely on the wayshowers like me that have been here this whole time. I have no idea what's coming next. I know I'll be traveling the world. I know that, one of my main missions is getting these books out and getting the stories out and creating MEOW the musical. That's, we had to put ourselves back in the story, is why I was in Corpus Christi too. We until this eclipse, we were writing ourselves back in the story. So I was running around town guided to tell people so many different things about the history, because that is where the air meets the water, down in Padre Island, down by Mexico. And it's where the Spanish came in and took the land from France and the Indians. And, that's just the latest timeline. So we have been rewriting ourselves back into history. And I'm saying that because it's your history. We are making history right now. Do not let anything stop you. If you think that people are going to talk about you and send things, then they are. Breathe in your heart space and really sit with it and hear, just do it. Just do it. Okay. Oh, I'm going to get my feet in here. Okay. Everybody take a deep breath. We're starting right here. I'm feeling a lot of pressure right here on the heart. We're going to go really light, and then I'm going to do I'm going to keep recording after this and go in a little deeper, I think. I'll let you know. Now I want everyone to cough. Head rush. Whoa, head rush. And it's going to because in the kitchen, the course, the game, because again, also get a get I know that was just a little bit. I'm feeling a lot of you. Okay, we have tension right here in our back, like where your wings would be if they were cut off. And this is where I have to just be a little bit more careful because I'm not sure who was all on the live, because these are attunements now, because it's all healing is now tuned to sound. And so when I go into the spine and do the deep blood dragon attunement to the chakras. I mean, you're on. So completely on. Yesterday I did one and she literally, after we were done, had opal energy all around her. Like it was like she just lit up. So I'm gonna take this inside and go deeper right now. It's not very, it'll probably be about 15 minutes and I'll go into the spine. I will do some more throat chakra right now. When you're feeling those blocks, cough, um, because that's really releasing. This is why a lot of you are getting hiccups and things like that right now, because there's blockages right here. So just send energy there. Recognize that that's what it is. Okay. So wow. Okay. So that cut the connection. I've never done that one before. Because see, our energies all waking each other up. Remember, I just happen to be the vessel right now. You guys are getting this as well. So meaning I just happen to be tuned in extra, extra big time as I'm waiting for you guys to catch up, please come. I've never done anything like that before and it cut the connection. So remember these energetic, as we were driving around Louisiana and everything, doing those crazy car stunts in front of cops, legit. Each time we would do light language and figure and do these certain patterns over the oil and gas, over the land, I would have coughing attacks or breathing attacks, couldn't breathe, things like that, because it was releasing the energy to our full body. So I'm hoping that assisted. And so I'm going to go inside and do a little bit more, depending on what time it is, because I still have 6 hours to get home and get out of here. So depending on what time it is, I might upload this tomorrow and just do a short video telling you guys that it's up. It was Libra full moon last night. So get your nails did, take a nap, and don't take care of yourself. Love yourself like there is a man. I picture my twin. I can hear him in my voice. Drink water, Christy. I can hear him say, I'm coming. I'm going to find you. You're not going to have to search for me. Last night I made a romantic bath for myself and I could feel him behind me. I could feel him there. And I've never met him. So just live as if he's there. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated if he was. And create. And through our creations, he will come or she will come. Write down what your intent is every day, and it will come true so quickly. I love you guys so much. And Coco at cosmicchristy.com. And I do have an Instagram that I'm posting a lot of pictures to. So look me up on there. Just really shots and amazing things I'm seeing. And I love you so much.